What's up, everybody? It's Mr. Inglorious, and after a long break, we are back. And this is not an ordinary game that you'd see on my channel. This isn't a first-person shooter or a survival game. It's a new simulation game, and it's called Snowtopia Ski Resort Tycoon. Now, this game is currently in alpha, and it has an expected release date sometime in 2020. And right now, it's free on Steam. You get in, you get the open alpha. It's a test version of the game, so obviously it's not in the final condition. It's free now. I'm not sure what the final cost will be. And this game is developed by TeaForTwo, and it's Snowtopia Ski Resort Tycoon. I haven't seen a ski resort type game like this, but the developer's elevator pitch to say is build the ideal ski resort, satisfy the skier's needs, improve your facility. Welcome to the wintry world of Snowtopia, a world where everyone should feel welcome. Can you live up to this challenge? Now, in this game, at least in the alpha, there's some basic tasks that it gives you for beginner mode. And it's basically learn the controls, build a ski lift, design a ski run or trail, and direct workers, and ultimately gain the skiers at your resort. Like I said, in the alpha, there are two main goals: start a working ski resort and welcome 150 new skiers. When you start off, you can pick between two maps. You have Mount Alpha and Frozen Peak. And after choosing Mount Alpha, I got in and I looked around the map, and they provide a pretty big area for you to build on. At least on the one I chose, there are 3 base resort areas, and you can pick whichever one you want to start at. And to start, you need to create a lift and a ski trail. There are 3 types of lifts to use. You can do a ground lift, which is like a T-bar, a standard chairlift, and a gondola, and each has its limitation based on length. There are also 3 different types of trails that you can use. There are small, medium, and large trails. Each has a different width. And the skiers start to come in once you start your first lift and trail. And each skier has a different experience level, and their happiness depends on what your resort has to offer. At this point, that's really the only thing that keeps your resort running. You have a little indicator of the user's happiness. There's no money. I'm not sure if that's in the plan or not. So during the alpha, you can basically build as much as you want with no associated cost. As I got into it, some things took a little bit to learn. The camera movement was a little glitchy, but you got used to it after a while. And then while you're actually building, you have a specific area you can build in, and those are outlined by these little black poles. And when you're creating a lift or a slope, they're not really forgiving. Once you place a lift, it has to be connected to this main area. And then once you place a trail, the trail has to be connected to the lift and the base area. And it gets a little fidgety. The slope creator itself is nice though. And same with the chairlift. You really can just draw out where you want to build it, and everything else fits into play. And as far as the trails go, you can easily visualize how you want them to fall down the mountain. One thing about it is, at least in the alpha so far, you can't edit a lift or a trail after it's completed. Basically, if something goes wrong with it, it's not connected, you have to just delete it and start over, which is fine. For the most part, they don't take very long to make. And you'll see this later on when you expand the resort. You can delete smaller trails and add new lifts and new trails. And as far as the skier count goes, the more lifts and trails you have, the more skiers you have. And the more skiers you have, the more volunteers you need to run the lifts. Each volunteer gives each lift so much capacity, and each one has a limit of 1, 2, 3, or 4 volunteers needed to run it. And then as you have more trails, you need groomers and you need maintenance staff, and you can prioritize which trails get the groomer priority, and if you want them to be planned to bumpy or just not paid attention to at all or what. And this got a little glitchy at times. After a few minutes, the maintenance staff didn't do anything, even though the lifts were calling for them, and the groomers would get lost almost. Like, you don't see them actually doing it, but they would just say working, but it would never really do anything. But you just delete them and start over, and it fixes the problem. I think that's just a bug in the alpha. And after about 15 minutes, I seemed to get the hang of it, and it got pretty interesting. From here, I started to build more trails. I extended the limit to my original resort to the other areas. And at the end, I managed to get up to almost 2,000 skiers. Although, I don't know what you have to do to make them happy, because I never got past 60% happiness. You know, obviously not much time spent in the game, but that was something I was really striving for. Not so much the skier count, but I wanted to make them happy, and I just couldn't get it past 60%. I did this in all of 45 minutes. And at the end of that, there's still plenty of room to grow. And like I said earlier, while you're growing your resort, it doesn't take much to remove a trail or a building to make room for more. All in all, this game is similar to other Tycoon games in the same category, Roller Coaster Tycoon, even the Sims, like the original Sims game where you just build from the ground up. The only difference being is there's no money. And I like skiing, so I thought I'd give it a try. Now, if only there was a more developed golf course Tycoon, I'd love to play that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Check this game out if you want. It's Snowtopia Ski Resort Tycoon by TeaForTwo developers. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.